Now, the manager of Manchester United, Erik ten Hag, has gone ahead and described to us the minerals that Amrabat brings to the side of Manchester United. Welcome to United Matters channel. It's a Saturday, match day. United hosting Crystal Palace in a space of 3 days. Remember, we last played them on Tuesday. We won that game by 3-0, and it's another clean sheet kept by Andre Onana, and that is one of the few he has gone ahead to keep in the first games. That's going to be the goalkeeper for Manchester United. That has been his 8th game as a Manchester United goalkeeper, and he has seen himself lose 4 and win 4. So it shows you how hard it has been for him. But we anticipate that as time goes on and as he reads how everything really goes on at Manchester United, in his central defense, he's obviously going to keep more and more clean sheets. And I'm telling you, Andre Onana is going to keep more clean sheets than David De Gea in the Premier League. Trust me. I smell another clean sheet today. I smell it. I smell it because Sofyan Amrabat coming in through at the club of Manchester United, and the minerals that Erik ten Hag has gone ahead to obviously explain to us, that I'm going to obviously tell you now. You are going to get to know that we are really safe when it comes to that area of the page. So smash the like button, close with it at times. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. How do you subscribe? Lower right bottom corner is the place to be. Smash the black button that has the word subscribe. After smashing it, hit the notification bell. That will enable you get notified every time we upload a video onto this beautiful channel of ours. Rokan David is my name. You can as well call me Aradi, because those are my initials. Now, we thank God for the gift of life, and for the Muslims, we thank Allah for the gift of life, and whoever is watching in through, may you see the goodness of Lord all Allah. Now, when we get into this mix, it obviously boils out into lots of things, because we are talking the midfield situation. Erik ten Hag has gone ahead and obviously explained to why Hannibal is really playing ahead of the likes of Eriksen. And I told you here yesterday when I was doing a live video, I don't know whether most of you have gone ahead to watch that video, but I told you that this might be the end of Eriksen. This season is going to be the last season that Eriksen is going to be putting on that Manchester United jersey. And you guys, I thought I was joking, but according to the reasons that Erik ten Hag has gone ahead to really give out, as far as to why Hannibal plays ahead of Eriksen are concerned, you are going to get to know that my words were right. And lastly, Lisandro Martinez's injury, he has gone ahead to have a say about it here onto our channel. And that's what we're going to discuss onto this YouTube channel this morning. It's the match day, and most of you are really ready for the match of Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. So, thank you, obviously, for coming in through always, and obviously giving us the best that we guys deserve. And it's all about you every time, and you give us the best that we deserve as a fan base, you know. So let's start it off with Erik ten Hag and what he said about Sofyan Amrabat. Erik ten Hag, on what Sofyan Amrabat adds to the team, he said, as a top player, you need a set of skills rather than just one, but his stamina, his energy, I think that's one of his greatest assets. Now, he's talking about his stamina, his energy. You know, we've been outrun the whole of last season in that midfield. Why? Because we lacked a more mobile and physical body into the team. One will say, Rokani, but we had Fred. Yes, we had Fred, and he put in a shift every time he was called in to do it. But Fred was not a physical player. When you look at Amrabat, he's really a towering of a lad. He's physical, and he's a much more better player than Fred. So he has all the attributes that Fred and Scott McTominay were really doing, and he's 1 in 2. So ten Hag is talking about his stamina and his energy. This lad is a force to reckon with at Manchester United. The minerals that he has have been really explained by Erik ten Hag, and he talks about his stamina and his energy. He thinks is one of the greatest assets, because we've been missing another energetic midfielder to play alongside Casemiro. You know, this is almost becoming a song, but it's something that we've been missing at the club of Manchester United for a very, very long time. And I think we last had it when Nemanja Matic was playing alongside Ander Herrera, because Nemanja Matic was really a very good CDM, you know that very well, and Ander Herrera was playing as a number 8 who could put in the energy. And Paul Ebide Pogba was playing ahead of them as a number 10 in that system of 4-2-3-1 that Jose Mourinho really liked a lot to play with at the club of Manchester United. And we had two bodies in the double pivot who were really energetic and obviously very, very, very solid. But with time, Nemanja Matic faded out. He didn't have the legs to play 45. He didn't have the legs to play 90 minutes. He could only play half an hour or 45 minutes. And then he really burnt out, right? And then for Ander Herrera, he was calling in for a very huge contract at Man United, and United rejected him that contract. So I think that is one of the biggest undoings for the club of Manchester United, losing Ander Herrera on a free. He was a very decent player that obviously complemented that midfield very, very well, and he could obviously put in a shift. And I believe that if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had Ander Herrera with him, maybe would have gone ahead to serve more years at the club of Manchester United. Reason being, this was the kind of player who could put in the energy and then connect the midfield to the attack. You know, sometimes you need a player like Ander Herrera who gets that ball from the central defense and connect it to, or and really pass it to the midfield or to the attack. Like you see Sofiane Amrabat and Casemiro, what they are doing. That cameo they gave us of, like, I think there are 16 minutes, because at the beginning of the second half versus Crystal Palace, it was Sofiane Amrabat and Casemiro playing the double pivot, and everything was really happening very, very well. And you saw to it that Garnacho got a lot of service, Facundo Pellistri got a lot of service, and even if Gore came in through and Donny van de Beek, the service was not cut short. These players had a lot of balls into their vitality, into their vicinities, and they obviously enjoyed themselves. So for Sofiane Amrabat, energy and his stamina is what Ten Hag is talking about as his biggest assets, because even if you are talented in the Premier League, you know, you need to be having two physical bodies in that midfield. Let me give you an example. Chelsea are a bit unlucky, but if at all Romeo Lavia returns and plays in that double pivot with Caicedo, they are going to look a better team. Look at Liverpool. So Basilai and McAllister are really putting the energy and the talent together to obviously win the midfield battles. Look at Arsenal. Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, Jorginho. You get Declan Rice, Odegaard. They're having some physical bodies in their midfield. Look at Spurs. Pamet Sarr and Yefis Bissouma, they're really doing wonders in that midfield. And you have to acknowledge what Ten Hag is talking about, that his biggest asset that is bringing the club is energy. Because we are having Eriksen. He's a very good passer of the ball, and he receives it very well. He gives us control, but when we lose, he is nowhere to be seen. He cannot cover the distance that Amrabat is going to cover in that midfield. That is it. So, by so doing, that's why Ten Hag is regarding Amrabat's energy and physicality plus stamina as his greatest assets. But he first talked about a set of skills. You know, he doesn't have one set of skill. He really has a multiple or a multitude set of skills as Sofiane Amrabat. One, he receives the ball. He can receive it on a half turn, and he's a press resistant player. He has a long range pass on him. He can shoot, you know. He can obviously win the early duels, and he can obviously take us to the promised land by really doing what a midfielder is supposed to do most, connecting the midfield to the attack. That is the hugest job for any midfielder. So that is it concerning Ten Hag revealing Amrabat's minerals that he adds to the club of Manchester United, and you now know what you anticipate from this play. It looks like Ten Hag was reading my head, because these are things I've gone ahead to talk about on a regular. Not so? I've gone ahead to talk about this on a regular basis here onto this channel, and hope you guys are really having a very good go about Sofiane Amrabat. Leaving Amrabat at that point, let's go to this other scenario that Erik Ten Hag has gone ahead to address of Hannibal being played ahead of first team players. And this is what he had to say. Ten Hag on choosing Hannibal over some of the senior players. I hope it inspires other players to bring more and do more. He's done a great job for the team and he's really contributed to our level in the last 2 matches. That's what Ten Hag is going to have to say. And you obviously see a very huge change. He runs a lot and he doesn't really allow us to see to it that we are exposed around the 18-yard box area. He makes interceptions. His passing is elite, because one of the things I've gone ahead to know about Hannibal ever since I saw him at Man United is that he's a press-resistant player. He's a press-resistant player and is one of the French players that we are groomed in that huge academy of France, but things never went on as planned and decided to play for his national team of Tunisia in vying for enough playing time. That is it. But for the 2 games, he has gone ahead to start Burnley and Crystal Palace. He has obviously given us a reason as to why the likes of Eriksen shouldn't obviously start. And Ten Hag has gone ahead to obviously emphasize it a lot into this tweet. He said, on Hannibal adapting to the first team, I don't think it's been that quick. Before I came in here, he was already in the first team. He made his debut last year. He was on loan, and this year he's making progress. So that's why he deserved an opportunity, and he has gone ahead to take the opportunity. So Ten Hag thinks that the lad deserved an opportunity, and we all believe in him that it was time for Hannibal to get into this team. But we never saw this coming, by the way. But for me, when I saw how he performed in the preseason, those few games that Ten Hag really gave him through, I saw his work rate, and it sent a message in my brain that it's time for him to shine. It was time for him to shine. And Ten Hag has gone ahead to obviously address that issue, because he gave Eriksen a chance, but he saw to it that we are losing out games because of one number, and that was the Eriksen position. He couldn't track back. That is the problem. Every time we obviously got into the mix and lost the ball, we got attacked, a cutback towards the D of the 18-yard box area, there was no player and Eriksen couldn't track those runs, you know. Now, with Hannibal being played into the team, we have not gone ahead to concede any goal. We've gone ahead to keep 2 clean sheets, meaning that there was a loose end in that midfield, and that was none other than Eriksen. Now, this has gone ahead to excite me a lot about Erik ten Hag and why he thinks Hannibal might be the best replacement for Eriksen. And it's going to be hard for Eriksen to obviously come in through and obviously get this to the next level. He said, I think Hannibal gives a very good message to the rest of the squad that this is the demand. This has to be the standard. When you are playing in a position, what you have to bring to the team to get success. He's 100% right. He's 100% right, because times have gone ahead to change. Times are no longer the same. We are living different times and different ages, where in the CDM, you used to be having only one player. Like in the system of 4-4-2, you used to be having one CDM, right? And you used to be having only one CDM with with a number 8, only number 10, because it was a 4-4-2. Like at Manchester United, we played with Roy Keane as a CDM and Paul Scholes as a number 8, right? David Beckham as a right winger, Ryan Giggs as a left winger, and he used to play with 2 center forwards. But things have gone ahead to change that in this system that is really modern. You play with 2 midfielders or 3. You know, there is no way you can cope up with a team that plays with 2 or more aggressive midfielders. Having one of the best midfielders in the world, Casemiro, couldn't help us from not being porous. Teams ran against us. They ran through us every time they really attacked us. You know, not Crystal Palace, not Aston Villa. Every team, Brighton, Fulham, every team that played with 2 serious midfielders into that anchoring role, they went ahead to obviously overpower us into that midfield. That was really a very huge message sent to Erik ten Hag, and I really like him for being a very huge student of the game, and he decided to obviously see to it that I'm really lacking another physical body and brought in Hannibal. So Eriksen has a lot to do to get back into the starting 11 of Manchester United. Trust me, because the requirements are really huge. The requirements are really huge, and I don't know how he's going to fight back, because we are having lots of midfielders: Amrabat, Kobe Menu, Hannibal. How can he get ahead of all those players? I think he's only going to get enough playing time in the Carabao Cup, being played as a central attack midfielder, or when we've gone ahead to win a game and he comes on through to play some 15, 20 remaining minutes. But trust me, the boys have gone ahead to put in a shift, and it might mark the end of his season at the club of Manchester United, because he doesn't have the legs to really perform in that role that Erik ten Hag really deserves him to play. And even if you're number 10, like Bruno Fernandes, you need to always put in a shift of running left, right, and center. Now, lastly, let's discuss about what ten Hag said about Lisandro Martinez's injury. He said, "So we did a proper diagnostic, but they did it in Argentina as well. Now it came out that there was a problem. That's very sad. First place, of course, for Licha, but also for the team, because he wasn't 100% fit." So for Lisandro Martinez, it's really a very, 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 very bad idea that he's obviously off, and we're not going to be having him for the next 2 or 3 months. But for me, I think let him be left to heal fully, right? Let him return in December and see to it that he plays the remaining half of the season when he's physically fit. We don't want to see him really get injured again. And the good thing is that we are having a new head of sports department that was formerly at Arsenal and is good at really treating these players and obviously giving them the best of the best at the club. So we wait and see how that pans out. But the manager went ahead and emphasized onto what is the biggest undoing for us when these injuries show up. He said, on the defensive injuries, I think that at the center back position we don't have any problem. It's more at the full back position that we have problems. Obviously, when you look at the central defense, there is Maguire, Lindelof, there is Rafael Varane and Evans. We are having 4 central defenders, but we are not having a left back. That is it, because Luke Shaw, Sergio Reguilon and Malacia are all injured. Then the right back, we're only having one player, that is Diego Dallo, meaning that we are really playing on a time bomb. Anytime things can go astray and the player might find himself injured, and that's going to cause us more and more trouble at the club of Manchester United. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. I call upon for your reactions for Erik ten Hag revealing Amrabat's minerals, all what he adds to the team of Manchester United. What do you make about Hannibal benching Eriksen? Do you think the reasons of Erik ten Hag that is giving being valid? And lastly, what do you make about Lisandro Martinez's injury, as the team is missing him 100%, plus us having shortage in the fullback positions? Rokan David remains my name. You can as well call me RD. May the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims, Barakallahu fikum. See you later.